Today for our preparing for membership renewals today. Thank you for joining. Just going to wait another 30 seconds or so before I start because we just let a few more people in. I'll introduce myself. My name is Becky. I'm the head of customer service for ClubSpark, and I've got on the call today with me, I've got Mia, Jan and Sophie, who are all customer service agents who you all know very well and help out and support all the time. And we've also got Emily, who's head of marketing, who helps us set up these webinars and so on. So today we're going to really focus on the membership renewals. I'm going to go through a live demo about duplicating your packages, about checking your settings, sending payment invites, the add-ons, the product sort of features, and then I'll go through from a player's perspective on how that they would renew and go through that process, and then also some other things about moving players and so on within the membership module. So just to recap, memberships, what the membership forms, there's no need for forms. You send them out, send payment requests with a few clicks, automated payment reminders, select online payments, and it should be saving you hours of administration when it might not feel that way right now. This is a busy period for you guys. We get that. So some features which we've had more recently. So you can now update status in bulk. So that basically means you can, the whole membership package, if you need to, you can change them all to lapsed or all to cancelled or auto active in one click. You can now move members from one membership package to another, which is a useful feature, and again in bulk. Add-on modules, I'm going to cover that a little bit more. So if you have products like a key deposit that you want to collect, or even if you have club merchandise like a club hoodie or something you want to purchase, you can now add these products on and get your members to pay for them online and do that. Also donations, we'll cover that a bit in my demo. Age validation, so this can now set for the membership for the ages and eligible for who can join and renew. Obviously we now have subscriptions for Stripe. We've always had that for Go Cardless, but now that's available for Stripe as well. And you can also process membership refunds directly through ClubSpark. As you all know, we have two main types of products in the membership module. We have the fixed date membership and the data purchase membership. So you'll hear us sometimes talking DOP, that's a data purchase. The fixed date membership is probably one of the most used, and that everybody has the same start date. For the purposes of this webinar and demo, I really will refer to as the 1st of April to the 31st of March, but it can be any date period you want. You can also have shorter date periods like 2 weeks or 4 weeks if you want to have short-term memberships. People can pay in full or they can pay in installments. The data purchase membership is becoming more popular. It actually means that you do less admin because you're not having to do pro rata, which some people do for the fixed date. And you could have continuous. So you could have it so people don't actually ever stop until they cancel it themselves, or you cancel it for them. So that's the continuous payments. That can be in the data purchase. You can also have a shorter period of time or 12 months from the date of joining. This moves us on to the live demo. So I'm going to move over to, bear with me. Okay, so this is, I'm in a stage environment or test environment, but it should be mirroring what you guys are using all the time. So you can see what I'm going to show first is a fixed date package. What I'm going to do first is actually the membership settings. So in the membership module, you've got the down here, and you can see the settings. It's logged me out. Bear with me. Sorry. That wasn't meant to happen. Okay, so we're here in the membership settings. So the first part, and if you don't take offline payments, it doesn't matter, but if you do take offline payments, how do you want to manage your members who select offline payments? So when you do an offline payment, that might be backs, that might be a check or cash or however you want to take payment, which isn't through Stripe or Go Cardless. When someone signs up, obviously we're not taking the money from them at that time. You can make a decision whether you automatically set that member to active when they sign up, but you don't necessarily receive the funds, or you have to manually set them active when the payment's received. So if you go to your bank and they're paid by backs, you can check and then you can come in and mark them active manually. So that's the choice that you get there. The next option is this data purchase package renewals. So if you're using the data purchase packages, you can have a decision. So when someone comes in to renew, you have a choice. You can either say that they renew on the day that they pay. So say their membership ran out on the 31st of January, and they don't pay until today, the 10th of February, then if you chose the first one, that would be today. Their payment would be today, and then their renewal date would again be on 10th of February next year. However, you can choose it to be renew on the date of package anniversary. So they could still pay today on the 10th of February, but the renewal date starts on the 31st of January when it expires. So that's a choice there. The confirmation settings here is your own free text that you can put in. This pops up when you when they sign up, and you can tell them what's going to happen next. And also terms and conditions. You don't have to have these here, but if you do add them here, then they are a mandatory, something they have to mandatory agree to, and they can open them up and have a link and so on. But you can change them and so on. So that's all in the settings. So let's move over to the membership packages. I'm going to focus on the fixed date packages first, and then I'll come to the date purchase. So the fixed date packages, you can see here, I've got 3 packages. I've got my adult, fixed date membership, family, and junior. As you can see, this is from last year. The start date was the 1st of April 2025 and ends on the 31st of March. So what we're going to do here to duplicate the package, you simply open the package, come down here, you click on options, and you duplicate. One thing that's really, really important here, if you do pro data the date, please make sure that this is the date that you want it to go from, because what it's going to do is go from this expiry 12 months. So I'm going to duplicate this package, and I'm importing active members. When the duplication package is created, it will pop up and it's going to be in a hidden status. So that means that you can work on it. It's hidden to anyone. Nothing's happened. No one's been sent payment requests or anything. This is literally you've just duplicated it. So what we want to do is we can go in and edit the package. The first thing to do is you'll see it's just duplicated the name because it's just put a copy. So let's change this now to 2627. And you want to change your code. I don't know, let's change it to 7. We're going to leave it as availability is hidden for now. You can check all this information. This is all duplicated from the previous. Here, the contact tag, you probably want to change that. So let's call it member adult 2027. And that's a new. So now this is double check this. This is your new duplicated package. So it goes from the 1st of April 26 and finishes on the 31st of 3rd, 2027. You can change this if you want, but that's what it's duplicated it from, because this mine packages are 12-month packages. Here you go, your grace period. Now we can talk about grace periods. Grace periods are there. They are at the end of your package. So in this case, what it's doing, if it says 3, it's giving them 3 extra days at the end of the package to allow them to still be able to book courts, pretend they're an active member. It can cause a bit of confusion. It also, we recommend if you use auto renewal or auto payment, not to have a grace period, because that does mess up the timings of the payment. So grace period, it's there. Some people use it. I generally say don't use it, because what it does, it means that when people lapse, they officially then go turn lapse at the end of that period, and that will force them to go and book and to pay if they haven't already, because they want to book the courts. Payment methods, again, you can click all of them if you want. It makes it harder work for yourself if you have more than one option, but I'm going to leave them both there for the moment to show you, but you can have as many as you want, different options. Previously, go cardless, they couldn't do installments, so now Stripe does that, so now that option is available for those. At this point, cost of living's going up. We're going to have to put our costs up, unfortunately. I would recommend that you tell your members before they suddenly realise, but you can do that here. So this is where you change the costs if you want to, or leave them as they are. As I said, my package is going to be for 12 months, but you can choose different monthly payments. One thing to know about installments, it is continuous. So if you were to choose 4 monthly payments, it would be from the 1st of April. Then it would be the 1st of May, the 1st of June, and the 1st of July. It's not quarterly, which is what some people would make sense to do, but it isn't. It does do 4. So you can choose. A bit like the council tax, I think they do 10 payment installments in a 12-month period. So you might want to do something like that. But you would get the first 10 payments up front and collected. Installment date of date that is that the money is taken. If you say user selects, then they can choose. With installments, they will still have to pay 12 installments. But when you get the money into your bank will be partly based on what you choose here. So if you choose the 1st of the month, that's the only choice they get. If you choose date of purchase, then that will be on the day that they purchase it, regardless. So if you're doing pay in full and you're giving them 30 days notice, they will pay early. That's the way it works. Okay, and then payment reminders that you can set that if you want to chase them up. And then save package. So that has duplicated your fixed date package. We haven't really made any changes apart from money and so on. As I said, it's there, it's hidden. All of your members that you've now imported from the previous package will be showed in pending, and they've not paid. If you're ready, then the next stage is that you would then make sure that the package is either set to invite only or anyone public. If it's hidden, they won't be able to pay for it. They won't be able to access it. If it's unavailable and archived, it's the same. So these two are not available. You can't do that. So I'll leave it as anyone public. And I'll save package. The next thing to do is that we're going to send out payment requests. So at this point, you select all of the members in the contacts. You select the 3 dots, and you click payment. Okay, I have now got someone on auto payment here is set up. So this is a good one to show. Someone previously has paid by auto payment and they are eligible for an auto payment. You'll see here, there's only one person, which happens to be myself. And so what this will do is this is going to say that I'm automatically going to be charged and I'm going to pay on the 1st of April. And yours will show there when you can expect that to come in. If you are using auto payment, and a lot of you will be, you need to make sure you're giving more than 30 days notice. they're not going to be charged, even though it's the 10th of February right now, they're not going to be charged until the 1st of April, which is fine, which is when they should be, because that's when the package starts. Okay, so that's my one person there, and I send and continue. All my other members in my this package are not eligible. So this then goes to step 2, and then this is for the request payment. So this is going to be a reminder that you're invited to apply for the following memberships, and it will provide the full cost and the instalment. At that point, you can double check the people are here, and you can request payment. All of those payment requests will now be seen in the email log. And you can go and click on the email log by hitting the envelope. And then today. Oh, there we go. So here we are. This is an example. This is a reminder that you're invited to play for this membership. These are payment requests. If I don't think my one's come up yet, but it will say auto payment request if it's an auto payment. So they are slightly different. Okay, so that is the process for duplicating fixed date packages. I'm going to just go back and go through the data purchase packages. So once these are set up, you don't actually really have to touch them, and that's why there's a real benefit for having them, because they just keep rolling over. And you can see here, if I open up this one I've got already, let me open up someone who's paid. I was playing around with this, so you can see here that I only just started it, but this is where the transaction is. But it will show line by line the multiple transactions of all the transactions that are there. With these packages, as an admin, if that payment fails for whatever reason, that their bank insufficient funds, or I don't know, their bank card got blocked for whatever reason, you will be informed by email to let you know that that payment failed. You can therefore go in, and depending, you could retry it, or you can contact the person and speak to them about getting a new bank details added. And I can show you how to do that later. So I'm just going to go back to data purchase. If we want to create a new data purchase package, you're not going to duplicate really, because, well, you could, I suppose, if they weren't the same, but like there'll be different packages rather than what you're doing is duplicating the year. So what we'll do here is I'm going to call it the students package. Students. You can choose individual or group. Groups here you can, if you were to have like, so the family, so family group, or couples. So if it was a couple, it's 2 people. Family, that's up to you as a club to decide how many are in a family group. But yeah, so but I'm going to do individuals at this point. You can choose students. Where this is where the ages come in. So I'm going to say a student is an 18-year-old and to a 25-year-old. You can put in information, speed, I'm going to just do that. You can add tags. So here, based on data purchase. So here again, you can do continuous, you can do shorter, or you can do 12 months. Grace period, up to you. Generally don't leave it. We'll offer the Stripe and go cardless options. So we're going to say, I don't know, £100 for new members, 100 for new renewals, cost for monthly. And it's going to be 12, so it's 10 monthly payments. Use select, or we're going to go date of purchase. Payment reminders, you can choose when they expire. I'm going to say and they've lapsed, then they're going to get a payment reminder 7 days, 14 days, and 21 days. Afterwards, you can choose whether you do auto payment. So that's basically would just renew. And if you want to choose auto payment, that really is totally taking out all your worries, because they're just going to continue each year without you doing that. Now, with students, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it because they're going to age out and move out of that. So we'll leave auto payment off. And then you can choose the reminder email. So at the end of the 12-month duration, they will get an email saying you need to renew 30 days ahead of time, or 7 days, or on the day of expiry. So let's choose that. Okay. So I don't have any members. So at this point, this is where you can import. So if you wanted to move from fixed date purchase, fixed date packages to data purchase, this is where you can import them from another package. So you click import, and I should be able to export another. Don't know why it's not letting me pop down. I had one earlier. Right, ignore that. You should be able to select a package. I'm in my test stage. We can import members. We should be able to do that. It's not popping down. I'll come back to that. You can also import from external files, and we can help that. I won't go through that today because that's quite complicated, because you just need to have it in an Excel sheet. Okay, so now I have my membership package. One thing to note here, don't hide packages. You can make them invite only if you don't want anyone else to purchase during now and when they renew. But if you hide them, that makes them cancelled as such. So you'll suddenly get lots of people going, I can't book courts, or I can't book courses, so on. So don't do it until after it's expired. But if you don't want anyone to purchase anymore, you can change it to invite only, and then it won't show on the public webpage. Okay, at this point, I'm just going to go into what we do with the products and the add-ons, because I want to show you how that works. So products and add-ons are in the payments module, and they're called products. Here, you'll be able to see I've added a few products. So I've got the club hoodie, for example. And what I'll do is I'll show you. So it's the club hoodie. You can put in a product description. You put in a code. You put in a price. And then you can say which packages, membership packages, it's available to. So I've just added that new one. I want to make sure it's there for me and students. And then we can save the product. So you have them sit here. But if you wanted to add a product, you simply come through here. You can put in the key. Some people use it for donations, for example, if you wanted to do a club donation of £25 or £10 or something, when the add-ons, you can do that. Okay. Once the products are added, what I'm going to do now is go through the membership renewal process of a new member, or not a new member, an existing member. So let me just jump to my website. Just refresh my screen here. So because I'm logged in, and this will be the same for any of your members now, because I've logged in and I've had the membership invited to me, The only option now is renew now. So this is the new package. I can choose to pay in full or I can pay monthly. You can see other memberships which are still available and so on are there, but I'm going to show you this one. Pay in full is quite simple, and you can simply just choose and make the payment. Pay monthly, I can show you how that works. So I'm going to click renew now. This is the club had on, as I said earlier, the hoodie. So if I wanted to, I could choose to add a club hoodie. As I said, this could be a donation. It could be a some people do ball hire, like a slingshot ball hire or things like that. It could be a tennis racket, it could be anything you want. So that adds on, and so then that's now been added here. So then equally they can just pass it and go past it and just. So my total cost today is going to be £60, and that's with the club hoodie and the membership fee, which is my monthly fee. It decides, because I've got those two options, and this is what I said, it's quite complicated if you have loads of different options, especially if you're offering offline payments, that can be confusing. So you might just want to choose one and just stick with one. But for this reason, I'm going to hit Stripe. This comes in here. I gave myself the choice to choose whether I pay now or the 1st of the month or the 14th of the month. I'm going to pay for them today. Oh, and then, sorry, select your card. This is my test card, so but they could add a new card in here. It's quite simple and literally. This is a test site, so it's just going through. Slower. There we go. My order's been confirmed. This is where that information is that you put in the free text down the bottom, and that's now. So if we then pop back to the membership module, and we go to the new fixed date one here, should find me down the bottom as part paid, because I've paid £35 and I'm active. And all my instalments will then show here. That is the process for purchasing the membership. Okay, so then I've just got a couple of other things. How to edit subscriptions. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go back to the homepage. This is the front website. So this is how your members are view this. So they can come in here, they can click on their initials, and they can click on the profile. At this point here, they can choose their privacy consents. They can opt in and opt out of consents. They can unsubscribe, and they can unsubscribe from court booking reminders as well. They can change their password. But what's I'm trying to show you here is that they can click their memberships, and they can see that their memberships are active. I think you saw earlier that there was one auto payment. If you have an auto payment, you can cancel your auto payment here. I've got lots of memberships going on here. One thing about the subscriptions, if they need to change their bank account with Stripe, if they do it with Go Cardless, you have to go to Go Cardless and you have to go to their own dashboard. However, if you've got an ongoing subscription, you can come in here, you can view the details. And click Manage Subscription. This takes you into the Stripe pages again. Sorry, it's this test site, so it's slow. But at this point here, you can see all of my subscriptions I've got. And I can come in here and I can edit my bank details if I needed to and add a new payment method, and then that would update that. So when you have people and you've been informed, oh, they've gone and they might have had their bank fraud or something, and they've changed their bank account details and their subscriptions all need renewing, banks are actually quite clever now and actually change that for you. However, this is how they do that, and they can come in and add a new payment and then and update that. Okay, so I'm going to come out of that. Change that. So that's how you change subscriptions. And then the last thing that I've got on my list to do in the demo is to show you. Someone said earlier in the previous demo webinar, someone said, just can you show me how to add a member to a package? So if you manually want to add a member, you literally open the package, you go to members options, and you can add a member. If they're already an existing member of your club, existing contacts, you can easily look them up and they should start to populate the options you've got. If not, it's a new contact and you enter in all their details and you save. At that point, once you have entered them, and I'm just going to do this one. They've added here. You can then send them an invite from this page, or you can request payment, and that will help them to create an account so they can log in. And the last thing I want to show you on this page is I had a discussion with someone else earlier today. Now, you might have volunteers who might get a reduced rate, or for some reason you want to give them a reduced rate individually compared to other people. Now, if you just, and they're going to give you cash in hand. If you just added payment, and I could do that now, and I say she's only going to pay £200, but the full cost is £400, it will show as part paid. So you might not want to do that. So to do that, you can just edit here. We're going to change that to 200 and pay, I don't know, my math, but £15. Confirm, you're changing the cost, and this is just for this member, Sarah Hall, as you can see here. And then you can add payment, she paid cash, and you're going to make her active, and that's how you manually add that payment. Okay, I think that's the end of that demo. I'm going to pop back onto this page here. So I've talked quite a lot about online payments. It does save a lot of time. So if you're manually doing the entries, then that's up to you, and that the system is built to be online payments. It will automatically update. It will automatically inform you if payments aren't done. We can now do refunds for membership packages, so that's really good too. We can do automations. We can do the auto payment, which is a really good system, and auto renewals. We have two options. We have Go Cardless and Stripe. Now, they are different transaction fees. We are quite transparent with that. Go Cardless at the moment are offering, if you sign up, 90 days of no transaction fees. So if you are thinking about using Go Cardless, this might be quite a good time, because you would be saving on those days if you are going to do membership renewals right now. When you sign up to Go Cardless, do be aware there's lots of different tiers to choose from. The cheapest and the most basic one is 1%. So you've got to be careful which one you're choosing, because that will make a difference to your transaction fees. Stripe is more expensive, but it's a far superior product, and that's why there is an option. the reason you can only use Go Cardless in the membership module, and the reason we set it up was Stripe didn't do installments. So Go Cardless was the direct debit option, and that's provided the installments, compared to Stripe, which now does both. But it's easier, it's a much better dashboard. We can support you a lot more. We can't support with Go Cardless. We don't have any views on it. We don't have any access to the dashboard as support. So it's a lot harder for us to work with. But that's your choice, and that's why there is a difference in pricing. Okay. I've now worked at Club Spark 8 years. And every year we have the same similar mistakes, and I'm trying to help and share with you what's the most common mistakes. So I've got 7 that commonly come up. So one big one is fixed date packages. If you prorated your fixed date packages throughout the year, which is what lots of people do, so it might be that like you would change the cost in October and then January, you know, because there's only so length left to play for that year until the new year starts. If you change the date in your package and duplicate it, it will impact the duplication of that package. So all you've got to do is just make sure that the start date goes back to 12 months before, and then it will be correct. But just really double check that for you. I've talked about grace period misconceptions. If you have a grace period, it's at the end of the package. So if you think that everyone was meant to expire on the 31st of March and you've got 10 days of grace period, they don't actually expire. They've got another 10 days. So it will be the 10th of April. That also affects auto payment because they're still viewed as active members for those next 10 days. Grace periods do work really well in some circumstances, but you're just prolonging the reason. So just be aware of that. They will not move into lapsed until after the grace period is gone. You can change grace period at any time, but just you have to be mindful of that. 1st of April, we have so many calls. People phone up and go, no one can book. Why can nobody book my courts? The reason is because if you list all your different membership packages in your schedules and you've duplicated them and you've not added them, well, then that's what happens basically. So check the court rules and schedules all apply to those new membership packages before their expiry date, so you don't have a big crazy 1st of April. Auto payment timing. You need to give 30 days notice for auto payment. Now, you've just seen me do that earlier. You can do it now, and it will still come out on the 1st of April. But if you're going to do it later, and say you do it in the middle of March, and you send the payment request in the middle of March, they're not going to pay until the middle of April. And then they might even be later than that if you say the 1st of April, that you want the payments to be taken out. So be really mindful of that. Please get them in before 30 days of when you want the payments to be done. Last 3, manually adding payments. This has slightly changed, and it's something I know that we used to be available, but since we've made updates to the system, it doesn't work anymore. So like some people don't take online payments, they just want to have a membership, and they just go in and they manually change the dates of the packages. You can't, if you want to manually then mark them that they've paid cash, it won't work. You'll have to then cancel that membership and then re-add them to the membership, and then it would work. Again, duplicate members join via the website. So sometimes you have gone and invited them to a package and you've sent them a renewal, but actually they don't click the unique email in and they don't log in, and they just go and purchase another membership. So they might be seen as pending in one membership and active in the other membership, and that's why that happens. But just mark that pending one as unpaid, as cancelled, and it would go away from their package. Another really common one is hidden status. I've mentioned it before. When you duplicate the package, it's in a hidden status. If you send payment requests and it's in a hidden status or archive status, no one's going to see it, and they'll try and click and they'll get a unique email and it won't work. So just make sure that it's either invite only or public, or I think it's anyone. And that's the end of the common mistakes, and finally it goes into customer support. So we have our customer support team. We try to offer a live chat between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. If we get really, really busy and inundated with tickets, unfortunately, live chat does get stopped, but we will try and do it and keep it going because we know it's useful. We've got our really good support centre. There's help articles, and we're trying to keep them up. You know, if there's any feedback, do let us know, but we're trying to make sure they're as useful as possible. And the last thing is these webinars and clinics. And so we're obviously putting on these webinars here, but also we're doing clinics, which is individual, like small groups, sort of 10 to 15 people every Thursday in February. So please feel welcome to join into those clinics as well. We've still got a few spaces, but there are opportunities where you can have a little bit back chat, and we can like turn on our mics and we can talk through and do some sort of individual demos for small groups. So that concludes my webinar. I'm just going to check in with Jan and Sophie and team. Are there anything that we'd like to demo live while we've got me here? I can answer those ones here if you like. So I'm just going to look at some Q&A. So when a member doesn't use the unique link and you mark pending as cancelled, it can create a duplicate contact record. Do you merge those contacts? Shouldn't create a duplicate contact record unless they create another LTA account or another ClubSpark account. If there are duplicates, you do merge contacts, but it shouldn't create a duplicate once they log in. Gavin, can you cover members moving from one age-related membership to another? Yes, I can. Let me just pop back into this here. So this is the move members one I can do. So let me just go to the packages. Who have I got here? Okay, it's the same concept, but I'm going to move the adult into, or maybe I've got some juniors, maybe a junior into an adult. Let's see if I can do that. Okay, yeah, look at my juniors here. So look at Tim Jones. He's 19, so he shouldn't really be in a junior package. So I select Tim. Oh, and we'll move Katie as well, because she's 19 as well. So I'm going to move them into the adult package. So I'm in the junior package. I select the players I want to move. And I'm going to click on the 3 dots and I click move members. Here it shows Tim and Katie. I'm going to choose the membership package. So they're in juniors at the moment. I'm going to move them to adult tennis and confirm there. I want to delete the existing membership. I'm not going to do that, but I want to make their existing membership cancelled because they're going to go into that, and I'm going to move them and they're just going to go straight into being active. I'm going to say that they are renewals. I'm going to move them now, and then I click move members. And in theory, it should open in the adult tennis. That's correct. And now I've got Tim and Katie. At this point, they're showing is not paid. You can then send them a payment request. You could add a payment. They're not actually registered, so sending invite. And then if you want to make them active, you can. So that's the way I'll move them. Okay. Debbie Yates, I can see you said, I didn't understand the bit about manually adding a payment. Can you clarify? Yes. Okay, so manually adding a payment. So if you take offline payments, you literally just open the membership and open the membership person. So let me just go back, jump to it for you. So we're here, we've got Harry Brown in the adult tennis. And we're going to say that he is a monthly cost, but we're going to add a payment that he's paid. And he's paid cash or check or other. We're going to change him to active and he's paid. That then shows this payment here. So that it's just as simple as that. That's how you manually do that. Debbie, Dennis, I've got, how can we check if there's one main contact for a family package to avoid issues when they join? So if I go to family packages always confuse people a little bit. I've got a family package here. When you open the family package, when people join, there is only ever one main contact. So you can come here and you can click on the main contact. And let's choose Dexter here. So this is a family, we call it Marley. These are all the members. But the contact details is the one person, and that's under the main contact details. So you can change the main contact here, but when you send out a payment invite, you're sending them out to the main contacts. And that's quite key, actually. So that's useful to show you. So in a family or group membership, whether that's couples or groups, you change it here to main contacts, and then you would send the payment out just to the main contacts, the payment request. Actually, don't think it's available. It's not even available under members, the option of sending a payment. So you have to change it to main contacts, and then the payment option is there, and it would just go to the main contacts. I think, have we got that? Where have we got any other ones? Can you demonstrate the age validation check? Let's see if I got. Okay, it's going to be a bit messy because I've got so many test clients, but I'm going to try and show you. We go to memberships here. I've said these are 18 and above. Eligibility. So if I'm going to join this one, which is last year's, but it doesn't matter. It's going to ask me this. I have to approve to the terms and conditions. This is where your terms and conditions in. Right, here, these are all my test cases, so please excuse it. Jenny Ward, she's not 18 and over, so that's why she can't join an adult. Or boy 15, he can't join. So only my adults here would be able to be members. And that is how the age eligibility works. If it's like says students, let me just quickly see if I pop back to student, the student one I set up. I got that one. Okay, here. Unfortunately, I'm no longer under 27 years old. Oh, 25. So it's not allowing me to join. So that's how it's preventing you from joining if you don't meet that criteria, unfortunately. But these ones can. Okay, I hope that was helpful. Right, I'm aware of time. So I don't want to just carry on, but I hope it's been helpful for you today. I'm just possibly, I think the team's all answering your questions. So Graham Maffei, I'll answer your last one. How do we set up a package for a one-off guest fee? The last time I tried to do it, the membership period was 2 weeks. Is there a better way to do it? So yeah, you're right. So in court booking, you can do guest fees, but it is per hour or per duration of the court booking. So we don't have a day rate, day pass, as you said. I think the smallest duration for the membership package is still 2 weeks. What you can do is do a product now. So you can now create payments, just like a one-off payment. So if you go to the payments module, you can either do it in order or subscriptions. There's a create payment button here. So you could just do a contact, you could add that person or an existing contact or a new person. So I'm just going to choose Sarah again. And you can create a product. So you can add the product. So we're going to call it 1-day guest fee. One, and we're going to call it £45. Oops, I didn't press save. Sorry. Guest fee. And you can add the product. Once that's added, that will always be available there in a drop down. So it can be a one-off payment. And then you can just literally send and request the payment for that person to pay. Once they have paid, they'll get an email and they'll get a link to make a payment. Once they have paid, then you'll be informed, and then it will show in the payments page. So that's the way I would do a one-off guest fee. It's not a way, just you'd have to be able to send it to them. It's like an invoice really, rather than and then you can see here it's pending, it's not paid, but once they do pay, it's there. And you can mark it and then have it fulfilled if they attend. So it will automatically go to paid, and you can say whether they've got it or not. Okay, I think it's late. It's 7:10 to 8. So I think thank you very, very much for all joining today. I hope that's been really helpful. And we will share what we're going to do. Is we had a webinar this morning. I had nearly 200 people this morning. So I'm going to compile all the questions, try and group them together because a lot of them are the same, and we will share that out. So you'll have the copy of the recording, and we'll also have those questions for you. So we're here with you to go through membership renewals. You know the team well now. For those who've been around, I can see some familiar faces and names. So thank you, and we'll get through it together. So thank you very much.